All right, hello. This is the Milkcrate podcast. I think this is episode 8, maybe? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But we got me, Jaime, we got Doug, we got Sam, and because it's the spooky season, we're talking about horror movies. And basically just the whole horror genre in general. So, I know that Doug isn't too big of a fan of horror movies, but that's also okay, I think. Like, Doug, why don't you really like horror movies much, or do you just happen to not watch them?
I mean, I'd say I do watch some of them, but there's just so many of them that kind of just mesh in with all the others, and they're just like not very well written. They're just not very good movies in general. I mean, I'm not gonna say that to the whole genre, and it's just like there seems to be a higher percentage of shitty movies in that genre than others, in my opinion. Um, Obviously, there's some outliers, but I don't know. I feel like it's partially just because it's kind of hard to scare people and have a good storyline. Um, I mean, there's a lot of non horror movies that are scary because you're not expecting shit and it just comes up. Whereas with a horror movie, expecting you're expecting to be or to try and be scared, but so like you know what I mean. It's kind of like this is probably going to happen, and then it does happen. It's like I'm just not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's there. A lot of them are very predictable.
Okay, that's fair. And then Sam, do you actually like horror movies? Do you watch them a lot? I don't really know your movie taste too well still.
Um, yeah, I don't really like horror. I mean, they're not high on my list, I'd say, but I watch them occasionally. There's some that I really, really love. Like, there's some really good ones. Like, Get Out is a horror movie. Get Out's
I love
incredible.
Get Out.
Yeah, The Shining. Um, there's a lot of really, really good horror movies. I think kind of what Doug was talking about that, just all these shitty, awful like B horror movies coming out. I think that kind of like peaked and then died down. Like I think that kind of like happened like in the 2000s, and then when we hit the 2010s and like got into like the mid 2010s, that kind of stopped.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like that was a big time for like really just rampant like B comedies and B horror movies like coming out like nothing. There's so many like Freddy versus Jason and all these spin-offs.
I love Freddy vs. Jason, but it is not a good movie.
Yeah, that's the case for some movies. I'd probably have a couple of those too.
Yeah, there are a ton of trash horror movies, and I think Doug brought up a really good point, like you said, with that whole ratio of like, yeah, there's some good ones, and like those are really good, but then there's all these other garbage ones, and I actually blame a lot of that on the Blair Witch Project, which it's not really their fault, but that's what caused it, where it's the whole found footage idea. Like, there were so many of those around, I think, I don't know, 2006 to 2011.
Cloverfield was one of them.
Cloverfield, yeah. Although, what was
Paranormal Activity.
Cloverfield Lane, or 10 Cloverfield Lane.
I just saw that, actually, as it turns out.
What do you think on it? Because I liked it a lot.
It was cool, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. It just I kind of thought I couldn't really pay attention, but just because there was other stuff going on. But that is kind of hard for me to do. But I also I don't know. Maybe I discounted it a little bit, but it was alright.
Is it considered a horror movie?
Yes.
Oh my god, I love
Yeah.
both of I love both of them.
I
forgot about those.
Those are great movies. That's definitely an outlier.
I love the first It so much.
Same.
The second one's really good too, but I love the first one so fucking.
They're fired. The second.
But those are also just hilarious.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The first one, I feel like the storyline was fire, and it was just like all around really good. The second one, it got slightly iffy on the storyline, but it was like so like mind fucky and stuff that it was just like really awesome,
Do you want to hear something weird about the books?
Yeah.
Apparently, in the book, at the end when they all like do the blood oath, they all fuck the girl.
They all what?
They all fuck the girl, and they're all like 12.
Yeah, what was her name? Beverly or something? They just all
Yeah, they
plow
all
her.
fuck Beverly. Yeah, they gangbang Beverly. Isn't that
And
weird?
they're like, aren't they like 11 or 12 too?
Yeah, well, Stephen King was on coke the whole time when he was writing this, and that's what he's like. Yeah, and then the kids are gonna fuck each other, and yeah.
Interesting.
I heard an
odd idea.
explanation kind of to try and justify it. It's definitely the weirdest part of that. I never read the book, to be fair. I've only seen the movie.
I mean, you know, it's fine. It's art. You can express yourself however you want to in art.
Yeah.
Whatever. People like it. People like that book a lot.
Yeah. And I guess the justification for it was like because it, the monster, it preys on children, and I guess by them plowing Beverly, they that was kind of their transition into more adulthood, almost like trying to get rid of like the trauma that they just experienced, which is like
I get you.
It and it's like I get what he was going for, kind of.
That's a really good explanation.
But
actually.
it's
That makes
a
lot of
really
sense.
weird thing still to have in the book. It's just like you could have totally just not done that, and I would have
Yeah,
been
dude.
okay with it.
That one
Yeah.
definitely needs an explanation to understand. And still a little hard to understand, but
Yeah. He's a weird author, but he's a really good author.
yeah.
And I think a lot of his movie adaptations are freaking amazing.
The Shining's another one.
Yeah, The Shining is goddamn amazing. Like,
Do you
I
know
feel
that
like
he
that's
wrote? He also wrote Shawshank.
Yeah, and I think that might be.
It's a short story.
I used to argue that was, I think, the best movie ever made for a while.
It's number 1 on IMDb's top 50 list.
Yeah, and I think it deserves that spot. I love that movie so much.
It's a really good movie. Yeah,
And,
I love it.
and they always play it on TV, like all the damn time, which isn't necessarily
Yeah,
a
it's
bad
super
thing,
popular.
but like people watch it.
It wasn't even like it did pretty bad in the box office. Apparently, it wasn't even super popular when it came out.
Damn, not even appreciated in its own time.
Not at the time, no. Because like, well, Morgan Freeman was kind of like pretty new to Hollywood, I think, because he got in when he was old.
Yeah, I'm still surprised at that. That like Morgan Freeman, I don't know. I think he's what 70 now, somewhere around there. So he actually
I think
started,
he's probably older. I don't know, but yeah, maybe.
and then he started getting famous around the age of maybe late 40s, or at least that was when he started actually getting gigs.
Yeah, like in the early '90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what he was doing for that other, I don't know, 20 maybe more years of his life.
He's 83 now.
Damn.
He's old.
He's probably acting. He's probably just struggling and not doing well.
Yeah. It was only, I don't know, I think it's something like 1% of actors actually are able, people who like try to be actors end up actually being able to do it as a career. Like it's
Yeah.
an insanely small percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest just end up doing porn, as the old saying goes.
Yeah, that reminds me though, a lot of horror movies, it's like borderline porn.
Yeah, super porny. Yeah, that's like back to like the early like 2000s and like the mid 2000s like horror movies. Those are just people like just like literally shitting out like just like facetiousing movies onto a silver platter, and just a bunch of producers making a ton of money, I'm sure. Just people making money hand over fist, not caring what they were making. Like people were watching them. Marijuana was just invented then, so everyone was doing that, and people didn't care what if the movies they were watching was good. And it was it would have been a great time to be a film producer, but like not a good time to like actually like movies, or at least horror movies.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like, was there any actually good horror movie that came out from maybe between the time of 2000 and 2010? Because I cannot think of any.
I have no idea.
Like when did Seven come out? Because I think that's one of my favorite horror
That
movies.
was a great movie. I've rewatched that several times.
2000 and is that even a horror movie?
I thought it was.
I feel like it would
It's like-
be.
It's like a thrill. It is a horror movie.
They
to some
claim
extent,
it's a
but just
crime
like a
mystery movie on Google.
thriller. Yeah, I would say so. I think probably. Yeah, 1995. Oh, I thought that came out after Fight Club, but it came out before Fight Club.
Oh. Huh.
Long time ago.
Damn. But yeah, I can't think of a single good horror movie from 2000 to 2010. And even, like, maybe after that, too. Like, up until maybe even 2015. Is Sharknado technically a horror movie? Because it's more of a comedy, really, but...
That's got to be like an action-adventure movie, right?
I don't know. Doug, what is, well, the one about anacondas, like, straight out of Anaconda?
Oh.
What the hell was that movie called?
Isn't it just called... There's a movie called Anaconda.
Straight out of...
Well, this one, it's like a parody of Straight Outta Compton, but with snakes.
Yeah, it's essentially the same idea as, like, you know, there's just some disgusting monster that comes, and it comes as like a tiny little thing, and then it keeps growing and growing and growing, and then just like takes over everything. But it was with snakes, and it was called Straight Outta Compton, and their like actors and stuff were like, God, it was god awful, like. It wasn't like real acting or anything, you know. It was just like
We did a drinking game to that. That was fun.
Yes.
Wasn't that on my birthday too? Like
Something like that.
I don't remember what birthday it was.
It was definitely on an event.
Yeah, or maybe it was our buddy Jark's birthday.
That was a good day. That was a good.
What's your friend's name?
Jean-Marc. We call him Jark as a nickname.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so Jark. I thought that was his real name. That'd be silly.
Yeah. I think his nickname used to be Shark. I don't know why. I never actually understood that. And then it just got changed to Jark, and I've been calling him that for I think 8 years now. Like, I've definitely called him that more than his actual name.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But I don't know, a lot of horror movies, I think they've been trying a lot harder the past few years. Like, and I think Get Out is a good example of that, because I think that proved even to like movie studios, like, oh, like this guy who, you know, he's kind of famous. You know, Jordyn Peele was mainly known for Key and Peele and a couple comedies.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, he comes in with a script, not a huge budget, wins a bunch of awards, and it makes a ton of money. Like, I think that kind of proved to producers and directors is like, okay, maybe we should start taking a bit more of risks with horror movies.
Yeah. You know what's funny about horror? There's something you learn in like classes about screenwriting is that horror and comedy seem to be the two most similar genres, because in both you're supposed to like have false starts, things are supposed to be over the top. Yeah, I don't exactly remember all of them, but they're really similar in the way that they're written, basically.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, it's you wouldn't expect it. It's weird, but it's the case apparently.
Huh. I do appreciate when horror movies try to throw in some comedy, but like, you know, nothing too ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like when I watched Child's Play the other night, it was from 2019, so Chucky, and it was, you know, it wasn't a great horror movie, but like I actually got freaked out a couple times. And they threw in some comedy, but it was nothing too over the top. There were definitely some moments though where it's just like, what the fuck were they thinking with this scene?
You know, the newest Halloween movie, one of the writers of the script was Danny McBride. You know, the guy from Eastbound and Down.
Really?
Yeah. So it's really funny because you have like this great comedian on writing on it. There's probably, you know, other people there other writers who had comedic backgrounds as well, but it was a funny movie.
I did like that the latest Halloween movie. I watched it, I think, around the time it came out, so it's been a while.
Yeah, me too. I saw it. Ooh, excuse me. I saw it in theaters.
Do you guys remember Halloween Town?
Yeah.
The Disney movie?
Disney movie. So? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hocus Pocus?
I never liked Hocus
Dude.
Pocus.
Hocus Pocus is such like a fun, lighthearted movie, but I remember having, when I was a kid, I still remember, I had a nightmare where I was hunted by the witches. Me and my whole family were hunted by the witches from Hocus Pocus. We were sitting in our little car in a parking lot alone, and yeah, it was super disturbing. But that movie is like pretty funny and like lighthearted. But I don't know how that dream came about out of it.
There was some Halloween movie that randomly popped into my head a few days ago. It was I think it was called something like My Friend the Vampire, or like My Vampire Friend.
Yeah.
But it starred the kid who was in Stuart Little. And like I watched a little bit of it because it was on TV a few days ago. And I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, this was made?
Yeah.
Like, it was just a weird kids movie that was focused on vampires and Halloween. I'm just like, man, some of these kids movies, they don't hold up too well.
Well, yeah, they're made for kids.
Yeah, but like some of them I think hold up really well that like adults could appreciate. Like I know some people who love Hocus Pocus, like they still watch that. Or like
I haven't seen it forever.
Was it the Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Yeah, I remember him.
Although I guess that's not a lot of these aren't even considered, horror movies. I guess they're just children's movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, children's Halloween movies. Bunch of Scooby-Doo like shows.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo is my shit. That's like all I
I
ever
love
watched.
Scooby-Doo. Yeah, Scooby-Doo is incredible.
Yeah, they recently made. Did you guys ever watch the Scooby-Doo movie? I think it was called Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. It came out, I think, around the time we were born.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know.
I had a really big VHS collection of Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah, the
Like,
VHS.
Like, I would consider that probably one of the best children's movies because of how well they handled like the idea of zombies and just ghosts and stuff like that. Because in the movie, I'm pretty sure it was all supposed to be real. Because like in Scooby-Doo, it's like, oh, who's under this mask? But this time it was like, no, that's real. Let's get the fuck out.
That's crazy.
And it's
I
like,
can't
man,
believe they did that.
Like 20 years ago, that some of these movie studios, they had balls for doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's when that's when people had balls back in the day. Back 20 years ago, people
Yeah.
still had nuts.
People just do what they want
Yeah.
for the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they all started copying each other for just whatever worked.
Yeah. Everyone
Cash grab movies.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys? I'm sure you guys have seen at least one of those Paranormal Activity movies, right?
Dude, no, I don't like to watch bad stuff.
I definitely have a while ago, but I don't really remember them.
I remember
man.
I watched it around the time it actually came out. I think it was Paranormal Activity 2. And it scared me, but I was also, I think, 13 at the time.
Yeah.
And like looking back, I'm just like, how did this scare me? Like, why was I afraid of this? Because it's all just jump scares, and at the same time,
Well,
it's like,
jump scares are scary. They add suspense. Well, if you're a kid,
yeah.
Have you guys ever seen a M. Night Shyamalan movie that wasn't The Sixth Sense?
Yes.
Dude,
He
which
made
ones did
The
you
Village,
see?
didn't he?
Yeah, he did make The Village. I haven't seen The Village.
It's not bad. It's all right.
Dude, he made this one movie where about the kids going to their grandparents, visiting their grandparents. That guy sucks pretty bad. That guy's not very good at what he does. Except for The Sixth Sense. That confuses me so much when, I found out recently that there's this guy named David Ayer, and he wrote Training Day. The movie Training Day? He wrote it. It's a great movie. And then there's also, End of Watch, if you've seen. He wrote and directed End of Watch. Either of you seen End of Watch? It's on Netflix. You should watch it. It's really good.
To my list.
And so he's made all these good movies. Fury is another one with Brad Pitt. That's a really good movie. And Shia LaBeouf is in it too. But then he also wrote and directed Suicide Squad. So it's he's very inconsistent. You know what I mean? That kind of really perplexes me.
Huh.
Yeah, Suicide Squad was not good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was written by like this guy who's like proven himself to be a pretty good filmmaker, but he just missed, I guess. But he's missed a couple times.
I feel like he did hit on the superhero, or not superhero, but like, the their background stories were pretty good.
I didn't even see it, man.
Yeah, I liked for Suicide Squad maybe the first half hour to hour.
Really?
And then it started, like, once it started, getting bad, it got bad. Like, it was, you just progressively kept seeing it get worse and worse until the end of the film.
What'd you guys think of the new trailer for the Batman with Robert Pattinson? Did you see it?
I thought it was. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, it's like, I think it looks alright.
Really?
I'm not gonna watch it in theaters. I'm not really excited for it. But I've said this to people a few times, just like, I think Robert Pattinson will actually be a great Bruce Wayne. Like, him for Bruce Wayne, I'm just like, that's really good.
But you don't think he's going to be a good Batman?
Yeah.
That's
I
an
don't
interesting
know.
perspective.
I don't think he's going to be a good Batman. And I don't know if it's just, like, how he looks, like, physically.
Yeah.
But it's just something about it's off to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree exactly. Yeah, I would say the exact same. He'd be a good Bruce Wayne, but I just don't see him as being a good Batman. It's just, I don't know.
What is it? What is the qualification you're going for here? Like, is it the darkness inside of him, or what? What are you looking for?
I guess it might be that I haven't really seen him performance-wise being that kind of personality where it's just like, oh, like I have a goal and like I'm gonna stop this person no matter what to get that goal. It might just be from bias from the roles I've seen him do, and I'm trying to like not consider Twilight at all.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was a long time ago. That was like 10 years ago.
I've basically only seen him in Twilight, so that's definitely where.
Well, have you guys seen Good Time?
I don't think so.
So Good Time is the first movie, or the first like big studio movie from the guys who did Uncut Gems. They're brothers, the Safdie brothers, and Robert Pattinson's in it, and it fucking rocks. It's a great movie. It's on Netflix, and it was like the whole reason that The Weeknd was in Uncut Gems is because he was like, I love this, like I love Good Time so much, like this is like my favorite movie ever, yada yada yada. And so they like start talking, and then they put him in Uncut Gems. But yeah, it's sick. Came out in 2016. It's awesome.
What is it called again?
Good Time. Yeah, and Robert Pattinson he's great. He's really great.
I'm definitely trying to be optimistic about him being Batman because there've been so many different interpretations of Batman.
Yeah.
So like that might also be why I'm not too excited for him, just because I'm too used to the other interpretations.
Yeah, they seem to be going like super goth with this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's good though. Like I never really want a movie to be bad. I usually want a movie to be like, oh yeah, like hope that one looks good. I don't know if I'll watch it, but hope it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost how I feel for Adam Sandler movies. It's like a lot of them are hit and misses, but I think he's got a few really good ones in there.
Yeah, one of my favorites from him is definitely Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, all like The Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, like that like trifecta from the 90s is that's why he's famous, because those are all great. Yeah.
The first Grown Ups was fire.
I liked Click a lot. I think Click was really good.
Yeah, Click's really good.
Click is really good.
He has that one really good kids movie too with the what's it called?
Bedtime Stories.
Bedtime Stories.
The only thing I remember from that is a giant guinea pig or something.
Oh, I remember that one. Did you hear about his new movie, Hubie Halloween, that's coming out on Netflix?
Never heard of it.
So he has a new movie coming out, and the trailer just looks awful. It looks so bad. Here's the thing.
Is this supposed to be bad though?
Here's the thing. After he lost like after. So Uncut Gems wasn't nominated for any Oscars. So he said to someone somewhere, he was like, I am so mad that I'm gonna make the worst movie ever. So that's his goal, is to make the worst movie of all time.
That's kind of awesome.
With this one, but I mean, he has a 200. I don't know for how many movies it's for, but he has like a $200 million deal with Netflix to make movies for them.
Damn, good for him.
Yeah, he could like. It could be this one. It could be the next one. Who knows?
I know my brother. He kind of hates Adam Sandler just because he has, not the best track record.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm just like, I like him. It's like he makes movies, I think, that he would enjoy. Like he just works on projects that he likes.
And he has fun with it too. Like he just like flies his friends out to Hawaii or whatever. He just films, makes money to just hang out.
There was a video that was recommended to me the other day. It was Kevin James, I guess, just in a forest. And, like, I don't know, he was just doing random shit. And it's supposed to be narrated by Adam Sandler. I haven't watched it yet, but it's supposed to be pretty interesting.
Was it, like, I saw Kevin James was posting, like, little sketches. Was it one of those?
Probably. I think it's only, like, 5 minutes.
Kind of strayed away from horror movies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we kind of did. Oh, well. We're at least still talking about movies itself.
Says something about the genre, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, there's not too much, I think, to the horror genre. But the past... I watched the movie Us a couple years ago, or 1 year ago.
I saw Us.
I liked it a lot. Have you?
Us is good.
Have you seen it, Doug? You should watch it.
Maybe? I don't know. I'll possibly.
It's Jordyn Peele's like second, horror movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as Get Out, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as good as Get Out. I do like it more than Get Out, though. I don't know why.
Really?
It's not as good, though. It's not as good.
Damn. What do you like about it more? I've never heard that. I've never heard someone with that opinion.
I think the fact that it seems like a really unique concept to me, where it's like you have a clone of yourself, but at the same time, it's not just you, it's like everyone. And like to me, when I was watching it, at least the first time, like there was this whole mystery for me. It's like, what the hell are these things?
Yeah.
And I won't really spoil it because I do want Doug to watch it, and some people might not have seen it, but their explanation for it is like it's really strange. But I was just like, yeah, I'm on board for this. Like, let's go. And then Get Out for me, I actually wasn't a huge fan of Get Out the first time I saw it.
No way.
But the more I watched it, the more I loved it. And I was I don't know if I ever told you guys this. I may have told Doug once, but I was actually trying to work with Jordyn Peele to fly out to my college because I was doing with the Black Student Union at my college like a huge presentation on the film Get Out and like a whole analysis of it. So we were trying to get Jordyn Peele to come out, and it was actually looking really promising, and then the world went to shit.
No way, dude. That was like recently, so you...
Yeah, this was like half a year ago,
and
maybe
the pandemic
a little bit more
hit?
now. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's weird that you mentioned that because one time I had an assignment to like write like a speech from a presenter at the school, and I chose Jordyn Peele.
Yeah.
Because Us had just come out.
Yeah, so that was a bummer.
God, that sucks,
but...
man. Yeah, this pandemic really fucked everyone.
Yeah, and then it's just like, well, I'm pretty positive I won't be able to get him on a podcast, but if I could, that would be like a dream come true.
Yeah, that would be pretty nuts if it was the three of us and then Jordyn Peele.
Yeah. Like, no joke, that would make this year for me, like, best year ever. I don't give a shit about all the other stuff.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So
and to have, like, an hour-long conversation with him.
Yeah, because, like, I had done the whole, like, presentation and analysis of Get Out, like, a couple times at that point. And it's about, like, an hour and a half overall.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, I went into almost every single detail possible. In doing that, it made me appreciate Get Out so much more from when I had first seen it. Because I've watched it, like, 10 times now.
Yeah. What's the biggest, like... I I mean, I remember when I saw it, I realized like how much I had to read into it and how much like the movie just caused me to like naturally read into it and just try to like dig deeper and deeper into the layers. I kind of don't remember much of what I thought right now, but like what were your main takeaways? Like if you like it's an hour and a half presentation, like if you had to tell me like two or three things like that were the biggest things you noticed or whatever from that presentation.
I think one of the most unique things I noticed was that one of the experiments, when he gets put into that zone and like he gets pushed into a third person perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the woman was doing a ding on her little cup of tea, that was actually replicating something from history where women would be drugged and they would do the whole ding thing to experiment on them, and then they would do something involving their their private parts, their baby making parts. Like they would experiment on them, and I guess some of the room also replicated a very famous case where like one of the most known doctors back then who experimented, like there's a lot of parallels there, and that shocked me. Just like, holy crap, that is an insane level of detail that Jordyn Peele went to.
Yeah.
And then I guess one other thing, this one I think is a little bit slightly more common known to people like who just look up trivia about the movie. Sure. But in the very first minute of the film, there's a black guy. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but
Lakeith Stanfield.
Yes.
He's a great actor. I love that guy. Yeah.
And there's a white car following him, and Jordyn Peele even explained just like that was supposed to replicate the feeling of the movie Jaws, of how there's this white car, it's following you, it's intimidating you, and the music score itself also starts getting more intense, similar to how the movie Jaws, with the famous theme song like dun 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 dun. Yeah. And he also mentioned just like for a lot of colored people, when you see a car following you at night, you shouldn't interact with them. Like your first instinct should actually be to like kind of run away. And I was just like, damn, that's really real. And then also an interesting callback or from the movie Jaws.
It's a good thing to tie in there, yeah.
Yeah, so those are probably the two, I think at least to me, most interesting aspects of that movie. Or at least unique aspects.
It was really great. It was really, really great. I want to watch that again now. I think I've only seen it once, and I saw Us twice. Like, it was weird. Like, I've only seen Get Out once, but or maybe I've seen it twice. I just did a lot of like thinking about it at the time that it came out, and I talked about it a lot. So it kind of feels like I've seen it more than once.
Yeah. Yeah, Doug, you should definitely watch Us. I think you'll like it.
I haven't seen it in my browser.
And then people listening or watching this, go watch Us and Get Out if you haven't seen them. I really think those are the two best horror movies from maybe the past 2 decades.
Seriously, what are you doing if you haven't seen Get Out?
Yeah.
Dude, have you seen you know who Ari Aster is? He works with A24. He did Hereditary and Midsummer.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those?
Yes. Have I seen Midsummer?
You seen Hereditary?
Yeah.
Hereditary is fucking legit. Yeah, Midsummer's really, really good too. I saw like the director's cut in Australia in this like tiny theater, and it was like 3.5 hours or something, but it was really, really good. Maybe 3 hours.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen Midsummer. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. The ending was a little to me, like the final
of Midsummer.
30 minutes maybe. I wasn't just a huge fan of. But Hereditary is amazing. There's very few movies, at least horror movies, where I watch it and then I keep thinking about that movie. Like for every now and then, like it'll pop into my head and I'll just start thinking about it for a while.
Yeah.
And Hereditary is one of those movies, along with the movie Us. Like those are the two main movies, but for some reason Get Out, it doesn't do that to me.
Well, you've thought about it a lot from what it sounds like. Maybe you're done thinking about it.
That might be part of it too, maybe I'm just a little burnt out on that movie at this point.
No, I definitely got to revisit that. But yeah, Hereditary is really good. Ari Aster's talented guy. I heard that he's maybe gonna do a comedy next.
Huh. Have you ever wanted some quality earbuds for working out, lounging around, listening to music, or watching shows? Well, one of the main problems with most of the earbuds out there is that they don't really sound that great, and they're too expensive. Well, the good news is that you don't have to spend $250 on some fruity company. You won't even have to spend $200 for a company named after a number, not even $130 from a company named after something in space. No, I'm here to tell you that you only need to spend $70 for earbuds that are just as good, if not better, than their competitors. That's right, I'm talking about Pamu earbuds. Now, normally these earbuds are priced at the same amount as their competitors because that's the price you need to pay for quality earbuds. But the good news is you can get them for $70. Use our code MilkBox18 for an additional 18% discount off your order. Once again, that's MilkBox18 with capital M and a capital B. Thanks, Padmate, for sending us a pair to test out, and hope you enjoy.
Because those also have funny aspects. Not a lot terribly, but they do have some funny parts, I believe.
Yeah, like there's at least bits of humor in there. Yeah, unlike I feel like one of the horror movies from back in the day that had a lot of humor, and I don't know if it was intentional, but it was the Friday the 13th movies.
Like from the 80s and stuff?
More of like from the 90s, because I think there's 7 of those movies overall.
That's a lot. That's too many movies. You don't need that many. You know, like, it's milked. After, like, 3, it's milked for sure.
Dude, the Halloween
I do want to see
series
John Wick
itself, holy crap, they milked that thing to death, but it came back. I think there were 12 Halloween movies.
Damn.
And the third one, I'm pretty sure they said it has literally nothing to do with the Halloween franchise. Like, it's about witches, no characters from before in it, not even a mention of them.
That's wild.
And then I think it was there was a Halloween one that came out in 2007 featuring hit rapper Busta Rhymes as the main guy. Wow. He's trying to get killed by Michael Myers.
Busta Rhymes. He's like everyone puts him on oh no, I'm thinking of Twista. But either way, I don't think I've ever heard a Busta Rhymes song. I've only heard Busta Rhymes featured on songs.
He has a couple alright songs. I don't listen to him, but like I've heard some of his music. Just I don't know. I don't actually know where I've heard it.
It's pretty good.
He's like the Akon of whenever he was famous.
Akon's lit though. I listen to Akon all the time.
I listen
you
to
just
some
no.
Akon's
You only
songs.
listen to Smack Dat because Eminem's on it.
I do
Wait,
listen
is he
to that one
really?
a lot.
I never knew that.
Was Eminem in a scary movie? In one of the scary movies? Was Eminem in one of the scary movies? Or Eminem was in some horror movie, wasn't he?
I don't
don't know.
think he was, but I know in like the Scary Movie parody series,
Yeah.
I think it was in the third one, they were parodying
8 Mile?
yeah.
He was in the Entourage.
Eminem was in Entourage?
There was a cameo of
Cool.
him where they were like getting in an altercation with Eminem,
That's
and
fine.
I'm pretty sure Eminem punched one of them.
Nice.
Kanye's in Entourage for like 3 seconds.
But outside the plane.
And
I
Curry
couldn't get
was
into that
in
show.
crap, what was that show called? Ballers. Curry was in Ballers for like
Steph Curry?
a minute.
There were a lot of athletes in that show.
Yeah. Did you guys
That show
know
couldn't
that
fall.
The Rock has basically like a football franchise? It's called the XFL.
Oh yeah, the Canadian Football League. Or no, they're not
Yeah.
Canadian. They're just
Well-
like another. There is a Canadian Football League. There is a CFL. My bad. Yeah, the XFL. The Rock owns. Does he own a lot of that?
I think he owns the majority stake in it, or at least 50% of it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it got canceled temporarily from the virus, but he said in 2022, it's just like it's coming back as strong as ever. And I'm actually kind of excited for it.
Remember how the
that picked up a lot of excitement last year.
Remember how The Rock started his career in movies with what was that called? The Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, that was one of
Oh,
his
yeah.
early movies.
Dude, his the Rock, the Rock's first appearance, I think, ever in TVs or movie was in that '70s show.
You're lying.
It was they went to like a wrestler event, and he played his dad, who was a wrestler.
Yeah,
played that
yeah, I
character.
know. I've heard of his dad.
And it's like that's a cool way to start your career as one of the most famous actors ever.
He did like these like really like gritty like PG-13 action movies in the early mid 2000s. Like I forget the names, but he wore tight black t-shirts and he hit people in the face. I can tell you that much.
Was he in Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Nah, he wasn't in
Yeah, he was.
the one with Brendan Fraser.
Oh wait, he was in that one where they had to get to the top of a mountain or something.
Oh, wasn't it like Journey to Witch Mountain or something like that?
Oh yeah,
It was
Or
Journey.
Race to Witch Mountain.
There's that meme. Yeah, I remember. I saw that movie. You know he's the highest paid actor of all time.
Yeah.
I have this kind of like fantasy about The Rock, not a sexual fantasy, but
Thank you for
I
clarifying.
have this. Imagine being a director and getting The Rock to like play a Philip Seymour Hoffman role. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like someone like a deeply like tormented like like a character his house is getting foreclosed, his wife is cheating on him, but he's just accepting it because he can't like man up enough to talk to her about it. Like something like that, like a really like serious like dramatic role where he's in kind of like this contentious like conflict with himself. And I kind of just want him to like earn his keep as an actor by doing that, because I kind of feel like he's just the highest paid actor for being ripped, right? Like he's not winning any Oscars anytime soon.
No.
Which is too bad because like I actually think he is, kind of like what you're saying. Like I think he is a good actor. He just does movies where it's mainly action movies.
Yeah.
Kind of like Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise is a good actor, but lately he's just been doing action movies, at least as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, he could stop. He's 60 something. He's still doing all his own stunts.
He looks pretty damn good for his age.
That man is crazy.
Yeah, he is crazy. Yeah, I gotta become a Scientologist, man. That shit looks like it helps,
They'll hook you up and they'll make you look young forever.
Yeah, dude. So they're right. So everyone thinks they're crazy, but they're right. Is that what you're saying?
Sure. Maybe they found
Doug?
this.
There's
the Found of You.
Well, there was one from the last Mission Impossible where he actually hung on to the side of the plane while it took off, and he was strapped on. But the one from the movie that they're recording now, he was riding a motorcycle, went off a giant jump off a cliff, flew in the air for a little bit, and then parachuted down the rest of the way.
I saw that. I saw a video of that. I thought, oh my god, I thought that was from something that was already filmed.
And there's obviously a helicopter flying in the air next to him too.
Yeah,
he's like the American Jackie Chan.
He is the American Jackie Chan, totally. Yeah, dude, he climbed up the payload in the newest Mission Impossible. Like he climbed up the payload, like the rope of the helicopter, and then he flew a helicopter, and then he also performed a high altitude low opening jump, and then he like broke his ankle and they had to stop filming for 3 months on that one jump across buildings he did.
Yeah, he literally learned how to fly helicopters and stuff. Like,
yeah, he has like an athlete's mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, pretty like
straight
tunnel vision. Yeah,
Tunnel vision.
He has tunnel vision.
And don't forget, he's also the star of the Dark Universe cinematic universe, or as I like to call it, the DUCU.
What?
In Mummy.
Yeah, the Mummy in the Dark Universe. Do you know what the Dark Universe is, Sam?
I've seen the first 3 Mummies with Brendan Fraser.
Those I liked those.
Those are good, yeah. But I've never seen. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Oh, I'd say you're missing out, but like you're not.
For sure.
So the Dark Universe, it was basically Universal's kind of their goal to challenge DC and Marvel because they have their superheroes.
Yeah.
So Universal's like, all right, what do we have? We have the rights to an insane category of old monster movies like The Mummy, Frankenstein, The Wolfman, stuff like that.
That's a good inventory.
Yeah, so they're just like, how do we do this? All right, we're gonna make a superhero movie out of this somehow. Like The Mummy, it was their attempt to, I guess, make a bit of a horror, an action, and a superhero. It's really weird, and it did not do well. I think they lost money on that movie, but they have tried, I think, 4 times now in the past decade to get this thing rolling. It started, I believe, with Van Helsing from, I think, 2013. And then I think there was The Wolfman in maybe 2015?
I saw The Wolfman. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think. Because that's a good cast. Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
But I think like Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman, because that movie also was sick from my memory. But I think it was earlier.
It might be earlier. I might have the dates a little confused. But then their third attempt was The Mummy, and it did not do well. And they put all of their cards into trying to get this thing rolling. Like, they even took pictures and, like, a huge photo ops of Johnny Depp was supposed to be the Invisible Man, which was going to be their second movie in this cinematic universe. That didn't work out.
That just came out, right?
Well, yeah, but it didn't have Johnny Depp. It had a completely different actor. And now I think they're trying to do, like, a soft reboot of it, I think, where they're just like, okay, the Invisible Man people actually liked, and it did fairly well with the box office, especially, with current circumstances. And so they're just like, all right, we're going to make more movies like this, and maybe we'll connect them, if it works. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing, Universal? Like, you're just make movies. You don't have to make a universe of them, because you've tried and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to connect them, make the movies first, and then see if there's a connection there.
Yeah.
Because, like, they've definitely made some stinkers. Like, The Mummy is not a good movie. It felt somehow like 3 movies in one, and it felt insanely short, but also it was too long.
That's a bad thing to think about a movie.
Yeah, it was not good. And Tom Cruise, he seemed like he really wanted to do it too. Like, he was, I think, heavily involved in making it. So, yeah, that's the Dark Universe cinematic universe, the DUCU.
Well, that's good to know about. I had no idea.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm actually hoped it would take off. Maybe it will with these new movies they're making, but who knows? Because monster movies, those I always liked those, the old ones at least. Oh, can you guys hear me? It shows you as frozen on my thing.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, it's fixed now. It was just like a weird.
I saw a really good monster movie recently called The Host.
Oh,
it's Korean. And Bong Joon-ho, the guy that wrote and directed Parasite?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie of his from 2006, and the dad from Parasite's in it. It's really good. And it's kind of also about coronavirus a little bit. If you see it, you'll see.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, we've been going on for about 50-ish minutes. I say we start to wrap things up, and we've just been doing this for the past few podcasts where we tell the audience, what we're watching and maybe recommend them something. And because we're kind of talking about horror movies this time, maybe if you know of a good horror movie, we can recommend that, and then also include something that we're currently watching. Yeah, here, I'll start us off, give you guys a second to think. But for me, I would recommend Us. And if you've liked previous Chucky movies, the Child Play movies, I would recommend the latest one. It's basically a reboot, and it's a modern take on Chucky. It involves AI as opposed to a demon possessing a doll. So it's
cool.
It's an interesting interpretation. And then we already talked about Us, and I love that movie, so definitely watch that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then I've also just been watching... What have I been watching? I've just been watching kind of reruns of stuff. I haven't had too much time to get into a new show.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Zach, you want to go?
Yeah,
I still
sure.
have time to think.
Well, mine's not really a movie, TV show, but The Boys. I'd consider it kind of
Seth
horror.
Rogen.
It's like
Produce that, yeah.
it's not quite horror, but like it's definitely closer to horror than it is like a non-horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's definitely very gruesome. It's
Really?
like it's like overly dramatic violence. Like the blood is like super thick, for example. It's like
Yeah.
thicker than it actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, that's kind of the only show I'm really watching right now. I'd say it's a really good show. However, the first season was kind of, I don't know. It wasn't like amazing in my opinion, but I think the second season's better. But they're both good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they're both good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been watching.
So for horror movie, man, what's like a great horror movie? Watch, Hereditary, Midsummer. Those are all awesome. Those are both great. Get Out is essential. The Host is really good. Yeah, I kind of feel like I covered all my bases here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't seen The Shining, obviously see The Shining. I'm gonna recommend a book because I feel like people need to read more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So take that as you will, viewer. I'm talking to you. You know who you are. I'm gonna recommend Ant Kind by Charlie Kaufman. It's a novel. It's really, really good. It's just like about this super neurotic film critic, and half of the entertainment from the book is like his inner monologue, like his how he thinks. It's super funny. It's really it's just hilarious. So yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Do you know if that came out in like the past year? Because I thought I saw it at a bookstore half a year ago. Like, and they were like displaying it a ton.
It did, yeah.
Okay.
It came out in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully, people will watch some of the stuff we recommended or read the book that Sam recommended. I might actually pick that up because that sounds interesting.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's always good to have more variety, I think, in what you get for entertainment. Keeps things fresh. But
Definitely.
All right, everyone, thanks for watching. This was one of our Spook Box podcast. If you didn't know what that was, it's just where MilkBox tries to do some more spooky stuff for Halloween. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and thank you, Sam and Doug, for coming onto the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,